everyone. Okay, so this is the story of my daughter and her type 1 diabetes. So back in the first part of July, we went to like the July 4th weekend. We went to Tennessee with some of my family. They have a house down there. I grew up throughout my childhood, throughout my high school childhood, I should say, going down there almost every weekend. So it's almost like a second home kind of thing for me. So my parents were going down and I said, well, sure, I'll go. Hubby decided to take care of the dog and stay home because he wanted to be close to work. And I said, well, okay. So we went down and followed them. And while we were down there, my little girl started acting like she had a UTI. And we didn't think anything of it. I just started giving her some cranberry juice because that's just what she loves. She loves cranberry juice. So I gave her juice and she seemed to be fine. Well, later on we had started doing more vacation things, touristy things, and she had to go to the bathroom more. And I thought, gosh, this is not good. And so I had even talked to my husband about it to see if maybe he could get a doctor to get like a prescription or something. And he said, well, it's the weekend, so probably won't happen for a holiday weekend. So later on, she seemed to be kind of not going to the bathroom as much, so we figured it kind of went away. So we went to Dollywood for a whole day, and she used the bathroom maybe once or twice extra. Still didn't think anything of it. She still seemed fine. A few days later, we went home, and on the way home, we stopped the usual stops, and she was fine. And then when we got home, she started wanting something to drink. Like a couple days later, she started wanting some water, which at first I didn't think anything of it. And even when we were down Tennessee, I thought she looked thinner. And I even told my mom, I said, it looks like she's growing or something. I said, she's losing her baby fat. And I mean, she's 9, so I thought, well, you know, she's kind of sunk in her cheeks a little bit, and I just assumed she's just growing faster than putting on that weight at the same time. She's just, you know, growing up like a weed. My son is 11 and a half, and he is very, very skinny, but eats as much as I do. So anyway, so we were down there, and so when we came back home, she kept asking for water, and you know, at first I didn't think anything of it. And then like 2 days after that, she started complaining that people were drinking her water. And I thought, well, that's really weird. And you know, as a parent, you just put things to the side. You don't think anything of it. And then, let's see. So then we went to a birthday party, like on a Saturday. So this was almost a whole week. Well, I'll say like 5 days later after Dollywood, we went to a birthday party. And all she really wanted was fruit and vegetables, and that was it. She didn't want anything else. She still didn't seem just right. She still seemed kind of tired and just not really up to beat. But it was a birthday party that she wasn't familiar with a lot of the kids. It was just a cousin, and there was a lot of her or the other side of the family that showed up that day at the birthday party. So I just figured she was just being bashful, because she is sometimes. Well, when cake came around, when the cake started coming around, she didn't want any cake. And I thought, well, that was really weird, because she's like me. She loves birthday cake. Anytime you can get cake, we eat it. And so I thought that was really, really weird. And that's when it hit me. It was just like, what is wrong with her? Why is she's not even wanting cake? She's just, something's not right. So then the next day, Sunday, we went to church, and she laid down on my lap, which isn't too typical. A lot of times she'll get bored or something and she'll lay in my lap. And so she laid her head in my lap and dozed off for about 5 minutes. And when she sat up, she said, Mom, she said, I feel dizzy. And I was like, oh, that's not good. So I was texting my husband, and I told him, I was like, we're going to the doctor tomorrow morning. So first thing, we're headed to the Dr. Pajarello's. So as soon as that happened, she still seemed okay. She just seemed tired. And that evening, we came home, and you know, my husband's like, fine, you know, we'll take her to the doctor first thing in the morning. And still, we still wasn't really sure. she curled up with me on the couch and played some video games on her iPad and stuff, and I think we even watched some TV together. And she still just wasn't right. She even dozed off at one point, and I knew just something wasn't right. I thought either it's just a severe UTI that's just really gotten, you know, infected in her body or something, or just, you know, obviously as a parent you just keep pushing those, you know, you keep seeing all those just all of those little things that you know are type 1 diabetic. You keep putting it, you know, in the back because you don't want to have those wishful thoughts about your child. You don't want to wish that upon them or something. So that evening my husband had given her some food, and I didn't know, and he had even given her some juice and some ice cream and some juice and things like that, and I didn't even think anything of it. Later on, I said, oh, I'll get you a juice. So I got her another cup of juice, and apparently she got herself a juice too, so that was 3 juices. And I think he even gave her a big bowl of ice cream that I didn't even know about. Well, I was putting her to bed, and I'd walked off for a minute to put my son to bed because he was already curled up. So I said goodnight to him, and I came in there. Before I came in there, I heard her get up, and she got sick. And I was like, oh no, maybe it's a stomach virus on top of a UTI, or just a really bad UTI. I just kept thinking she's cold. Her skin felt really cold. It didn't feel hot like a fever. So she laid down on the couch, and at that point I started sending messages to like my trainer and stuff on the computer and telling people that she was sick, and then she fell asleep and slept fine. She was restless, kind of moaning almost kind of thing, but she still slept all night. And that morning we got up, and my husband picked her up and took her to the car, and she started being really restless in her seat. And we got my husband dropped us off, and we were about to go in the doctor's office, and she just sat down on a bench. And at that point she's like, I just don't feel good, Mom. I don't even feel like walking. And that's when it really started getting really scary. And so he came over and picked her up, and he started getting really aggravated at her because he works in the medical field, and he's like, you know, Zoe, if you don't straighten up, they're going to put you in the hospital. I mean, he just assumed, he's in the medical field, so he's like, they're going to give you this, and this, and send you home, and you know, go home. But if you act like you're really bad off, they're going to put you in the hospital and admit you, and you know. And so we got in the doctor's office, and she was just almost lifeless kind of thing. She was real nauseous, and so once we got in the back, he picked her up and took her to the back and laid her on that bed, and he pretty much shut his mouth as soon as he saw her breathing. She was breathing really heavy. So she was breathing really heavy, and you knew something wasn't right. Well, I got up and went to the restroom and came back, and I heard them say, you know, we'll get you to pee in a cup. So I was like, oh, no big deal, Zoe, you know. They found sugar in my urine when I was her age, and I said, so Nana was always having me pee in a cup. It seemed like I was always peeing in a cup. So we came back, and I handed it to him, and they said, so the nurse comes back, and she's like, has she ever had any problems with sugar? And I said, no. I said, but you know, when I was her age, it wasn't a big deal. I said, they found some in my urine and never thought anything of it. Well, they went and got the meter, and when they came over and they took her blood, it was 450. And I know that's not as much as now that I know that it can get up to 800 or 1,000 or more. But that was pretty scary. I literally sat back in the chair and was just kind of mad at myself. So the doctor hollered at my husband and hollered. She asked him to go step outside for a few minutes, and I knew it was serious then. She told him, she's like, you have an hour and a half. If you can't get her to Charleston, West Virginia, which is the capital, Women's and Children's Hospital. She said, if you can't get her there in an hour and a half, we're flying her out. She's in DKA, and she's really bad. She's really dehydrated. She was concerned about her organs and everything. So It took us like 45 minutes to fly from, or to drive from 45 minutes to drive from Williamson to Charleston, and from downtown Williamson it is every bit of an hour and a half, maybe over an hour and a half. I mean, we flew. So we got to the doctor or the hospital, and they hooked her all up to all these wires and everything, and they checked her sugar again. It was 479. It was really hard. And even at the end, people were like, you know, when was she diagnosed, blah blah blah, and we're like, no one told us that she was type 1 diabetic. And we're like, no one. And they're looking at us like in shock, and they're like, this is the first time? And we're like, yeah. You know, still no one has, at that point, still no one had actually said, your daughter has type 1 diabetes. So, I mean, it went for hours. They took them upstairs, and even then people started asking us, you know, when did she get diagnosed? How long ago was it? And we're like, no one's really said she was. And so finally her endocrinologist, how do you say that? Her endo doctor came up, and you know, she's like, well, I'm sorry to tell you, you know, we don't know why or how. They say maybe it could have been a virus, and her body just started to fight itself, and her pancreas just kind of gave out, and it just kind of killed the pancreas. So anyway, it just, it was the hardest thing, is to hear someone say, I'm sorry, your child has an autoimmune disease. We don't know why. She will always have to be on shots for the rest of her life, and always be insulin dependent. And yeah, she was in ICU for 4 days, and it was the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. And she's been so brave and so tough. It's just amazing how kids just, they're so strong. Me, I cried every day, and you can see me now, crying now. But, and I've cried probably every day for a month. But yeah, just, you know, keep us all in your prayers, and, you know, if you pray, please do. At least keep us in your thoughts. And if you have any advice, if you will have type 1 diabetes, definitely post some comments down below. As a mother, it's extremely hard to see your child go through the things that she goes through. She takes 5 shots a day. If she decides she wants a snack or something special, if we're out somewhere, like at the beach, she had cake and ice cream, she'll have to get an extra shot, of course. Type 1 diabetes is just basically, we have to be her pancreas, because her pancreas just doesn't work the way it's supposed to anymore. It's not like type 2. It's nothing like type 2. It cannot be controlled with a diet. When you eat, you have to have insulin like a normal person. She does not produce insulin, so I have to give her a shot of insulin. I have to weigh and measure her food so that I give her the right amount of insulin, because if you give too much insulin, then she goes down. If you give not enough insulin, her sugar goes back up. And you want it more balanced, but sometimes hormones get in the way, sometimes exercise gets in the way, and so yeah. Anyway, thank you all for listening, and sorry if it was a little sappy, but I know there have been a lot of people I have met through over the past month, my friends, and that have actually told me, you know, their kids have type 1 diabetes, or they have family members that are type 1 diabetic, and it's definitely encouraged me and helped me realize that we are not the only ones, and she will be the only one in school. So that's definitely something to be scared about. But anyway, I will let you all go. And if y'all want to see more type 1 diabetic things, I'm definitely going to be putting her in more videos for sure, and just making the best of her life. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this, and look for more videos coming very, very soon, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.